Hi viewers and welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be looking at creating parametric ribs or bulkheads for hulls and fuselages. We're going to be using the curves workbench to do this, but we're going to be primarily creating the model in the part workbench. We're only going to be using the curves workbench to allow us to split the model into these parametric surfaces, which will allow us to change the profiles to create different ribbons that go along this surface. This is a very simple technique that I'm going to be using, and it allows you to create these ribs very easily and very quickly for your model. So I hope you're enjoying the channel, and let's have a look at this technique. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the site. I also have a Ko-Fi or a coffee site that you can donate to if you so desire, and that's at ko-fi.com/MANG0. I also run a Patreon where you can subscribe and get extra content, and that's at www.patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Any money that's kindly donated will be used to expand the channel. So we're going to create a new document and come over to the part workbench. Now this is where we're going to be creating our main model in there. We're not going to be using the part design, we're going to be using the part, and also we're going to be using the curves workbench. This one here, which is installed by the tools add-on manager, and in the workbenches, if you come down, you'll see the curves workbench down here, which I've already got installed. So we're going to create a hull or a fuselage in here. I'm going to go with a boat hull. And we're going to be creating the bulkheads or ribs of a fuselage or ribs of the boat. We're using the part, so we're going to first need a sketch in here. Now this is going to go a bit left field, but you're going to understand once it starts developing what we're actually trying to do. We're going to be using a sketch in here, and I'm going to create a sketch along, looking from the back forward, so from the back of the boat forward, so the XZ plane. Go to the front, new sketch, XZ plane. Okay, that. I'm going to create a rectangle in here. Now this is going to be roughly the size of the boat. It's going to actually surround the boat itself. So I'm going to create these 2 points as symmetrical. So I've selected those 2 points, click in this line, and create those as symmetrical. So the last line I selected, that will make that symmetrical to that line there, like so. Add some length in here. So we're going to go for something like 200 millimeters. And also we'll add some height. So about 150. So this all depends on your boat. So this should be surrounding your boat when you create it. This can move up and down at the moment. I'm not too worried about that because I may adjust this once I've lofted the boat. So we're going to close that, and I'm going to use I've got sketch selected, so I'm going to use the fit contents of the screen to bring it into view. Now we're going to look at this sketch and extrude this along the Y. So this is going to extrude the length of the boat. It's going to go from the back of the boat to the first bulkhead. We can do the whole boat if we want, but I'm just going to do it out to the first bulkhead. Click the sketch, come into the part, make sure the sketch is selected, and use the extrude. And we're going to extrude along the Y. Click Y, and this is going to be the length, so something like 300 millimeters. Not too fussed about dimensions at this time. Let's make that a little bit longer, so 400. When creating the boat itself, when we're lofting that boat, we can't actually use this tool here. We do normally use this tool to create cross sections, but this isn't parametric, so we need parametric cross sections to actually create ribs along the boat. So if our boat was actually inside here, this is going to be our cutting tool. Now how do we do this? Well, this is where the curves workbench comes in handy. So we click on the curves workbench. There's a tool within here, and all we need to do is select one side. So let's face here, these tools start to be activated, and this tool here, which is ISO curve from face, will come up to surface, ISO curve. That's divided that face into U and V sections. Come onto the ISO curve, select it, you can see the number U, number V there. So we can zero out the U if this isn't right, because we want these cross sections here that go across here. Then just change this number around. Now I want to increase this number to how many ribs or bulkheads I want. So we can go 8. I'm not a boat builder, so please excuse that. If I'm calling this wrong, please let me know in the description as well, in the comments. So click on the ISO curve, you can see that there. We can click on the extrude and hide that, press the spacebar, that hides that extrude. We've got these lines now, which we can extrude as one single object. So come over to the part, click on the ISO curve and use the extrusion. Now we want to extrude along, if this was the back of the boat here, we want to extrude this way along the X axis. Click on the X, make sure this goes the right way. We can change this afterwards, doesn't matter. And let's say 200, I believe it was 200 along this way. So hit OK. Let's check this. So bring back the original extrude. Yeah, that original extrude is there, and you can see what's happened. So the extrude is there. Press the spacebar to hide it, and we've got all of these planes, just part of one single extrude. We can use each of these as a datum plane if we so desire, which I'm going to do, but I'm not going to sketch just yet on these. I'm going to change the color of this because this is grey. We don't want to be sketching on grey because we can't see it, and it won't be any good for the demonstration either. So we click on our extrude, come down to the view tab, and in here we should have a shade color. We can change the transparency, so we can change this transparency if we so desire. But I'm just going to change the shade color to blue and hit OK. It's dark blue, so I can sketch up on this quite easily. I'm going to do the back profile first. So I'm going to click on this back face, so this face here, face 8, and we should be in the sketcher actually. So make sure that face is selected, create a new sketch, and that will map it to that face. So flat face, hit OK, and just use the method you like to create your boat. So we can create half if you so desire, or we can create a full symmetry hole here. So we can do the half breadth and mirror it over and use a line. I'm going to use a line, so we'll place this straight line here. Bit of curvature. This is up to you how you want to build this. I do go through a few techniques on my channel of how to build holes, but it's totally up to you how you want to build this. I've got this curve here, and you use this line. I've got the auto remove redundant constraints and auto constraints on here. So we can click this line, control click this one, and make these tangent to each other. Endpoint to endpoint tangency substitution, hit OK, and we've got a nice curve there. And also I need a straight. With this shear line, it comes out and connects to the center line here. Hit escape, and I'm just going to pull this off the bottom. And we'll highlight all those with a box selection. Make sure that center point isn't highlighted, so we just click that center point. Now I'm going to click this center line, so this is the last one I've selected, and we'll use a sketch symmetry across here, sketch tools and symmetry, and that will flip this over this center line. We want to make sure these 2 points, because these haven't actually connected together, so click these 2 points, make sure they connect together with a constraint concentric. This is offline from the center. Click that, click the center line, and use the point on object constraint there, this one here. Let's place it on there. We need to do the same for the bottom, because if we pull one of these out, you can see how they move. Control Z that and just highlight those two. Those two are highlighted. I use box selection around there. None of these lines have highlighted, so I'm all good. And coincident constraint against those. So we've got our first profile there. If I hit close, see that profile there. We can sketch different profiles going across here, but I'm going to use this profile and I'm going to duplicate it up. Just place it on one of these sections here, one of these faces. So we'll click the sketch, go to edit, duplicate selection. Now this sketch is attached to Extrude 001. So this one here, this is the original Extrude, you can see it here, so all these will come up here. If I click Extrude 001, which it's attached to, all the rest will disappear, so I've unchecked that one. And the sketch is got a box selection in here. That will just duplicate that one. If I try to, let's bring all those back, if I try to unclick Extrude here, then you can see all those are selected. Unclick that one and you can see we're getting ourselves into a bit of a muddle. It's always the one that it's connected to. You could, if you so desire, work from bottom up and just unselect them and you'll get that one. So I selected one sketch, hit OK. This is only for duplication. If you're creating a new sketch on here, then you don't have to do this. The sketch has been duplicated. Those will be on top of each other. So I'm going to select sketch 001 and press the spacebar. So this is hidden now. If I press the spacebar on sketch 002, you can see that's there. Come down to the data tab and look at the support for this sketch. It's on face 8, which is this one here. We're going to change that. So I'm going to click on this field. So I get the 3 dots come up and this button, click it. You can see it's attached to Extrude 001 face 8. Just hit clear. So this clears it away. So this is not attached to anything at the moment. There's no support. And what we'll do is come around and just select one of these faces that's going to be placed upon. Place it upon this face here. Extrude 001 face 4 and hit OK, and what you'll see, this will move to that face. To click on the original sketch, which I duplicate that from, press spacebar, and we've got those two now. We're going to create a different sketch on here based upon these. So click the front one, the front face there, click the sketch, flat face, OK. Now if I put a bit of angle on this, you can see we're got this plane here that's attached to this sketch, but all of these are in front of us. We just section view through these. So go into sketch, view section, and that was section view through there, and you can see that sketch there. It's also available in the toolbar here. I'm going to pull in some geometry so I can get an idea of the shape that needs to be placed upon here. So I'm going to use this sketch and pull it in to this plane, this sketch here. Use the create an edge link to external geometry. And let's have a look and watch what happens when I click this external geometry. So this line here, that'll be pulled through there, and we'll just pull through one side. It's just get a reference and the feeling of what we want to do for our profile. Again, if you've got a different way of creating your profiles, then go for that way. I can now section through there and make sure I hit escape to get the mouse pointer back. Let's create our shape in here. So we're creating like bolt heads at the moment. So I can hit front, and we're going to keep the same number of edges, so the same edges that come around here, and we'll create, say, a line going through here. We'll actually hit escape, undo that. I'm going to attach it to this point line that goes here, and we're going to create another line somewhere about here, and we'll use the arc. So we've got the center and end points. I'm going to use an end point and rim point arc. Click one point, that's coincident there. Hover over the other point, coincident, and just add some kind of curvature there. Hit escape, and we'll make this line and this curve. Use a tangency to make that a bit more cleaner, and that's fine there. Again, we've got to mirror these, so to highlight them, use the center line. So the last thing that's selected is the mirroring line, and come into the mirroring and bring this over. And we need to zoom in and make sure that these points here, these 2 points, are coincident. This point is sitting on this line with a point on object constraint. May get some problems with over constraint, so we can click to select and just remove that one. So hitting the delete, I didn't need that point on object constraint there, so hit delete. There we go, because we've got a point on object constraint over here, so that overrides that. I didn't need that one to there. And did we do this one as well? No, we didn't. So Control Z that. and just highlight those two, coincident on there. So we've got the two profiles, well the three profiles going through, hit close. We've got the three profiles going through there. I'm going to click on that extrude and just press the spacebar just to hide that. We're going to use a loft in the part workbench. Now these are running in order, which is fine. If these are out of order, we can sort that out anyway when we come to our lofting. So click on our utility to loft, or come up to part, and you want to come down to the loft, which is down here. It'll ask you for the profiles. Now we've got available profiles here. Click them. They will highlight in green on the right hand side. So this is the first one that I want. Our next one, the middle one, this one here. Doesn't matter which way you go, if you go from front to back or back to front, it's fine. Click on Sketch 003, which is our last one, and click the right mouse button. I want to create these as a solid. We can come to that in a moment. If I hit OK, that will loft through there. You can see that's open. It's just a shell at the moment, so we've not created a full solid. Click on our loft solid here, drop this down, true, so this is on the date tab. You'll see two faces appear, one at the back and one at the front. So this is a full solid now. So we create our loft. What we can do now is bring back the original extrude. We're going to use this as a cutting tool. But first of all, make sure that the loft sits inside these squares. So if it doesn't, what you're going to have to do is, say if this was out this square, we would need to come into the original extrude, this one here, and go to its parent, which is this extrude here. This was its parent, so pressing the spacebar on there. And we can come in here and just change the sketch and just bring 200 millimeters here. We can bring this, say, to 300 millimeters. We can change the height as well. What will happen is, though it's gone 300, that will cover this side, but we need to extend our extrude as well because it's moved our extrude back, but we're still extruding the original extrude, which was 200. So we need to set that length forward to 300, and that takes us further. Same with the height. If we change the height in here, then our extrude won't be affected, but we can cover this boat. As long as we got length and height to cover the whole of this boat. This is now our cutting tool. So I'm just going to bring these down. So we just got the extrude and the loft here. So just collapse those. Because this is our cutting tool, what we can do is click the extrude, control click the loft. So we click the extrude first. This is the one we want to keep. Because what's going to happen is we've come up to the part, come to split, slice apart. You can see what's happened. We've got these faces, but these aren't actually faces. If I click on this and press the spacebar to hide that, we've got the individual slices going through here. And if we look at this as flow slices, the one that I've just hidden is down the bottom, slice 14. The alternative ones are these faces here, which we can get rid of. So select the first one, hold down control and select the ones that we want to get rid of. You can see them being highlighted here. Press the spacebar. We've now got all the faces that we need for our ribbon or our bulkheads. And what we can do is extrude these all at once by clicking on one, control clicking them individually, like so, using the extruding along the right plane. So the Y axis there, click Y. Let's go for 10 millimeters. We can change this if we so desire. Hit apply and close, or just hit OK, and that's extruded along those faces there. So you can see how those are extruded out. If we want to, we'll see all these extrudes here. We can select all of these, so I'm pressing the shift because they're all in line. You can use control if you want to select the individual ones, but I'm using the shift and selecting the last one. And we can change the length if we so desire. If we select the symmetry to true, what will happen is you can see that sketch is in between that, so we're symmetried over those faces, those original faces. So that slice 1, see it, and there's slice 1 there, and let's press the space bar. That's extrude. You can see how that sits in the middle. And slice 1 inside that, we've got the loft and all those sketches there. So let's click those sketches and press the space bar just to hide those. Let's see what we've done. We've lofted through. We've got these nice extrudes now. Let's bring back the other one. Where is it? So it was one of these extrudes. There it is. This one here. And hide the slice in there. Press the spacebar. So we've got all of these, and this is parametric as well. So we can come into one of the extrudes, and we've got access to the sketch in here. So let's press the spacebar on that sketch. Double click that sketch, and we can change this. So as long as we don't go outside, we're changing the symmetry there. So let's Control Z that and bring these two in vertical constraint with each other, and also these two vertical constraint. And we'll pull this one out. We can see everything's changing there. It's all inside. Hit close, and that's changed as well. So we can change those. The other thing is we can come in and let's say that as long as we got the same style of profile going all the way through, let's use that one. When I say all the way through, when we start getting and changing the second profile in here, you'll see some errors occur, which we've fixed by changing the last profile to match them all. We use the trim tool in here and trim this edge, trim these, trim this edge, hit escape, take this top part, hit delete, hit close. You can see how that's taken effect there. So it's gone from this profile all the way through to the end profile, which was fine, and this one in here. So let's double click this one and do the same section view, and you can see which profile we're doing there. Let's add another one in there. Obviously you'll be taking a lot more care than what I'm doing here. Don't need this top line. Hit delete so we can get rid of that, and use the trimming. Trim these away and trim these tops. Hit close, and you can see how that's going through there. We've got a bit of an issue with the last one, which we need to resolve. So which one's that? This one's that one there. You can see how that sketch has deformed there because of all what's going on behind, and also we haven't fully constrained it as well. So section view through that one, and that's really gone a bit nuts in there. So let's move this over. Might even rebuild this. This is the reason why you fully constrain your sketches. Let's get rid of that, delete that. In fact, let's delete that line and that one. Bring this over. Horizontal constraint, place this upon here, point on line constraint, and let's redo the symmetry. As I said, this is the reason why you fully constrain sketches, and use the symmetry across there. Constraint and coincident constraint along there, and use a box in here. Hit escape to delete the top. Trimming. And hit close. and you can see how that's taken across there. But there we have the ribbons for a boat, or the bulkheads for a boat, or ribbons for a fuselage, if I got that terminology correct. And again, as said, these are parametric. We can change the size of these, change the shape, as you've seen there. And we can use that in our models. We can model on top of here as well. So I hope that's helped. Any questions, please add them to the comments, or any requests, add those to the comments. And I hope to see you again in another video. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the site. I also have a Ko-Fi or a coffee site that you can donate to if you so desire, and that's at ko-fi.com/MANG0. I also run a Patreon where you can subscribe and get extra content, and that's at www.patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Any money that's kindly donated will be used to expand the channel. Thanks a lot for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you again soon.